Hi, everyone. Sorry, a little technical difficulties. My name is Dr. Julio. My name is Dr. Julio, and today we're going to talk about how to lose weight and feel great without feeling tired or hungry. I hope you enjoy the webinar. I've got some really great information, so please stick around for the whole thing. We've got a lot of great stuff to learn, okay? But first, before I do that, I wanted to ask you guys a question. By the way, just some quick things over on the right side of your screen. There's a chat box, so if you have a question, you could type the question in the chat. Feel free to answer me back as for yes, no, I agree, whatever you think. So I want to make this really interactive with you guys. So feel free to type in your questions. There's a toggle box on the bottom that you could select whether it's a chat or a question, or if you're typing a question, just end it with a question mark. I'll get to the questions at the end of the webinar, so we'll go through a Q&A at the end, okay? So stick around and enjoy the webinar. Okay, so first, let's take a quick poll. I want to know from you guys, what is the hardest thing about losing weight? I know we've all struggled in the past. Is it knowing what to eat? Is it eating too late? Is it keeping the weight off? Having enough time to eat? Or just eating out too often? So the poll is going to show up here on your right. So go ahead and just answer whatever it is that you have the hardest time or struggle with the most. And we'll give it a couple minutes just for you guys to answer those questions. I see some answers coming in. So I'll just give you guys a couple minutes. You know, we've all struggled in the past with, knowing what to eat. I see it's a big one, keeping the weight off. One of the things that I know a lot of people, and myself included, struggle with a lot is just eating out too often. That may not be your number one thing, but I know it is hard for a lot of us. So what I'm going to do for you actually is I'm going to give you the first of your free giveaways, and that is an infographic that we've created on the 10 tips to eating out. After we finish this poll, we're gonna there'll be a downloadable button over here on your right that you could download that free infographic. I'm gonna discuss the other 4 answers: knowing what to eat, eating too late, keeping the weight off, and having enough time to eat during the webinar today. But I won't have a lot of time to cover the eating out too often. So feel free to download the infographic here on the right shortly. So we have the answers to the poll, and it seems like we have a dead heat, knowing what to eat and keeping the weight off. And those are 2 obviously very common problems. Sometimes we just don't know what food to select. So hopefully I'll answer both keeping the weight off, because a lot of times we'll go through a diet, we did really well, but then 6 months or a year later, that weight just piles back on. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that, the fad diet just changed a thing, but it didn't really change your lifestyle. So we're going to discuss that. But so let's go ahead and start. I'm going to share my screen here with you for a second. So give me a moment while I do that. And we're going to go through the slide presentation. So I bet you've all tried several diets before and failed to lose weight, or you gained it right back. Am I right? Type yes in the chat if I'm right. So today what I wanted to teach you is how to lose inches off your waist and keep it off without starving yourself or feeling hungry, and still having tons of energy to get you through the day. I know this is a mouthful of information that I'm going to give you, but I promise to hopefully answer those questions by the end of the webinar today. I do want your undivided attention here. So be sure to just pay attention, and don't worry about taking notes, because the other thing I'm going to give you is a copy of these slides. At the end of the webinar, there'll also be another download button where you could download the slides for free. The slides that you're going to see today are just the title slides. the ones that you're going to be downloading have more detailed information of the things I'm going to discuss. So feel free to just sit back, listen, and give me your undivided attention. Before you do anything, what I really want you to do, again, is silence your cell phones, like they say in the movie theaters. Put the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door. Make sure you really dedicate this hour, because I'm going to give you information that's hopefully going to help you and last the rest of your life. So, I want to teach you this because I had a personal transformation that I've shared with many of my patients and helped transform their lives too. My name is Dr. Julio Hernandez. I've been practicing dentistry for over 20 years, but I suffered with digestive problems, for many years before. My turning point really came when I turned 40, or just before I turned 40. I wanted to lose a few extra pounds, but I really struggled with that because the older you get, it wasn't quite as easy for me. And that's when I decided to put together the Biscayne Wellness Center. So now I'm the owner of Biscayne Wellness Center, where we provide dental, skincare, and wellness services to our patients. So I'll tell you a little bit my story. I started out, just wanting to improve my digestion because I did struggle with that for a long time. I tried a bunch of different diets. I tried, gluten-free diet and, low carb, this and that. And, certainly I lost a few pounds, but I just couldn't get rid of that little pouch, that little spare tire, as we call it. So annoying. So, and sometimes I would even I wanted to really lose a weight. So I worked out really hard, or I ate super clean, and, I only lost just a couple pounds or a couple, a little bit off my waist. And I realized it just wasn't realistic. I worked full time, and I just don't have the time to spend hours and hours at the gym. I had even tried fasting before. I've tried some juice cleanses, and, certainly I felt better, but I didn't really get any sustainable results. The turning point came really when I realized that no diet in the world will help you lose weight and keep it off if you don't change your lifestyle. And that's how really I began to develop my program, which is now a 14 and 21-day program that I'm going to share with you at the end of this webinar. And the added benefits to that program is that I ended up with more energy, clearer thinking, smoother skin, and improved mood. I've helped a lot of my patients. And here's what some of my patients have said. After always being stressed out, tired, lazy, and overwhelmed, I now have this energy and inner peace. Dr. Julio Hernandez, thank you for introducing us to a healthy and simple lifestyle. Best part was losing the weight. I feel like a new person, body and mind. Thanks again, Dr. Julio. It's the best life-changing decision I've ever made. Not only did Dr. Julio work on my digestive issues, he has also helped me have a better and calmer lifestyle. I lost weight and even some cellulite without losing muscle. What I never expected was the improvement on my skin, the increase in energy, and best of all, I learned eating habits that I still use today. I'm looking forward to doing it again. By day 5, I was feeling more energy. By day 7, I could tell I was losing some weight. I mean, this stuff really works. And what I've done is basically created a program. And those programs are based on some 5 fundamentals, which is what my webinar is about today. And this is what I want to share with you. The 5 fundamentals for body transformation. And those are reduce toxins. And this is, let me tell you, reducing toxins is the #1 thing that is not addressed in most fad diets. And we're going to discuss this in detail. Second, reduce inflammation, eat and supplement wisely, reduce stress, and keep moving. So let's go ahead and start with step 1, reducing toxins in our environment. We are surrounded by toxins from our environment, also from the lifestyle choices we make, and internal toxins that build up. These toxins should be eliminated by the liver, but many times our bodies become overburdened, and when that happens, its toxins get trapped in our organs and tissues. So let's talk about first the types of toxins. We have environmental toxins. These include things like polluted air from factories, auto exhaust, solvents like paint and cleaning products, heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, radiation, and inhalants. Look at these incredible statistics. 232 toxic chemicals were found in the umbilical cord of U.S. newborns. I mean, before a child's even born, they're exposed to so many things. And then we have these like strange words, phthalates and PBDE, which are flame retardants, are found in 99% of pregnant women. Those are scary, scary statistics. And BPA, which is one of those chemicals found in plastics, is found in 9 out of 10 Americans. I mean, we should all be concerned about these environmental toxins, which we're surrounded by today just because of the modern style that we live in. Next, we have lifestyle toxins, things like nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, recreational drugs, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs, artificial food additives, coloring and preservatives, meats that contain hormones and antibiotics, refined foods and sugars, and dietary choices like fast foods and fried foods. These things are slowly killing us. They're building up in our system, and our bodies just don't know how to get rid of it. So they end up being stored. And then the last kind of toxins that nobody really thinks about are the internal toxins. These are things like bacterial, yeast, and fungal overgrowth. Byproducts of metabolic reactions. Our bodies are constantly going through these reactions, and the byproducts of these reactions are things like carbon dioxide, ammonia, and hormones, which are toxic to our bodies and our bodies need to eliminate. We also have undigested food when we eat too fast or eat too much. Stress creates an incredible amount of internal toxins, and unresolved trauma or abuse, things that you experienced as a child or as an adult. And lastly, unhappy relationships, be that with relatives, a spouse, a significant other, a boss, a coworker, or even a neighbor. Okay, so all of these things build up toxins in our bodies. So let's just go through a little diagram of what happens to these toxins. So these toxins, we're basically surrounded by toxins, and these toxins enter our body. Once they do that, they go through our bloodstream. Our bloodstream acts almost like a factory, right? So it starts filtering out these toxins and separating them into either fat-soluble or water-soluble toxins. The water-soluble toxins get excreted out of our kidneys when we urinate, by our sweat, and through our colon when we go to the bathroom. The fat-soluble toxins, however, end up going up to the liver. And unfortunately, most of the toxins that we're exposed to are fat-soluble toxins. So these toxins then have to go up to the liver. The liver then has to filter those toxins. And these, what the liver does is filters the toxins, makes them water-soluble, puts them back into the bloodstream, and then hopefully those water-soluble toxins get excreted out through our kidneys, through the sweat, and through the colon. What unfortunately happens many, many times is that we are so overloaded with the toxins that our liver can't handle the amount of toxins that it goes through. So what happens to all those excess toxins is that they get stored in fat. And this is what our body does as a protective mechanism. Think about too, what happens if we don't exercise, we don't sweat. And what happens to all those water-soluble toxins? Then the kidneys and the colon have to excrete them out. So those have to work harder. Or let's say you're constipated and you don't go to the bathroom for a day or two. Then what happens? Then the kidneys and the kidneys are overworked, or you have to sweat more often. But let's say you don't exercise and you're constipated. Then you can imagine how much work and strain you're putting on those kidneys. So what happens with all this excess toxins? They get stored in fat, and that stored fat basically causes inflammation. And inflammation is the second thing that we need to reduce in full body transformation. Inflammation is really the core of chronic diseases, things like diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, autoimmune diseases, okay? These things, the core of these problems come from inflammation. And 95% of chronic diseases are caused by poor food choices, toxic food ingredients, nutritional deficiencies, and lack of physical exercise. So what causes inflammation? These things that I already mentioned, obviously, infection when we get a toothache, trauma, let's say we fall down and hurt our knee gets swollen, we get inflammation there. We already discussed how stress builds up toxins in our body. It does so through inflammation. The foods we eat cause inflammation, and we're going to go into a little bit more detail on that. our environment, toxins in our environment, and the belly fat, which we just discussed, causes inflammation. Inflammation came out in Time magazine on the cover as the secret killer. And there's a surprising link between inflammation, heart attacks, cancer, and Alzheimer's disease. So inflammation is the secret killer. It's what they call the silent killer because we don't realize we have it. So let's talk a little bit more about just how foods inflame our bodies. There's three main ways. First, we eat the wrong foods. We process and preserved foods, excess sugar, fat, and salt. We eat genetically modified foods, and a lot of us have food allergies or food sensitivities that we may not be aware of. All of these cause inflammation in our bodies. Very often, especially in the American diet, we eat too much. Those plates are like flowing over. It's crazy. When you go out to a restaurant, you see them serve a huge portion of food. You don't see that in Europe. So we're eating too much and certainly eating too fast. These crazy, busy lifestyles that we live, a lot of times we're finding ourselves eating in the car, eating on the run, and we're not spending the time to eat. And this, our bodies have a hard time processing this food, and that's also causing a lot of the inflammation. So eating is very important, and that's why we've included this as step 3. Eat and supplement wisely. How you guys doing? You guys following me? Type yes in chat. We got a lot of information here. I hope you're absorbing it all. Okay, so let's talk about eating and supplementing wisely, because this is one of those things that you guys marked, that knowing what to eat. Okay, so this is where that answer comes. We have to remember food is energy, and you have to eat enough to sustain energy throughout the day. You have to eat every 3 to 4 hours, and don't skip a meal. I can't tell you how often I speak to people and they tell me, oh no, I don't have breakfast, I just have a cup of coffee. And what happens, they always say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, because your body needs that energy to sustain itself for the next few hours. And if you just use coffee, all that coffee does is coffee blocks receptors in your brain that tell us we're tired. They don't give us energy, they just tell us we're not tired. So basically they're lying to you, right? Coffee lies to you and tells you you're not tired when your body really is tired. But what happens when the effect of the coffee wears off is you crash, okay? So, don't depend on coffee for energy, depend on food, because food is the true energy. Second, nutrient-dense foods, things like fruits, vegetables, organic meats, and healthy fats. These are foods that are high in nutrients, and these are the things that are going to give us energy. We want to minimize grains and gluten. Grains and gluten are not things that are nutrient dense and do not give us the energy. When we eat too much grains like bread and pasta and things like that, they make us tired. Have you ever gone into a lunch coma? Well, the reason, or food coma, the reason you do that is because usually you're eating too many carbs that are not very nutritious. Next, eat whole foods. We already discussed not having nothing prepackaged, processed, or preserved. You want to eat like our grandparents did, eat fruits, vegetables, meats, things that grow out of the ground. And last, taking supplements. Even sometimes as good as we eat, sometimes we don't eat enough variety, and we have to have enough variety to get all the vitamins and minerals that we need in the day. And sometimes that's hard, even if you're eating a healthy diet. So it's important to take a multivitamin to make sure you get enough supplementation during the day. Also, omega-3 fatty acids. There's been tons of research that shows the importance of omega-3 fatty acids and getting enough fat or good fat in your diet. And one of the easy sources to do that is with omega-3 fatty acids. And finally, probiotics, which is now the buzzword. You see a lot of commercials on probiotics. And the reason is because they know how important probiotics is, because probiotics are basically the good bacteria in our stomach. So we need to replenish these good bacteria often. So if you've tried to eat healthy in the past, but still found it hard to lose weight or maintain your energy, don't be disappointed. It's not your fault. You've been set up to fail. The reason is because we're surrounded by toxins. We're presented with the wrong information. We're told half-truths. We're told that these foods that you could see in the picture here are healthy for you. But honestly, they're not, because they're processed, they're full of sugar, and they're really not healthy. We're fed nutrient-poor diets. And, most of all, we're just given limited time, and this lack of time leads to increased stress. We're all so busy that we often don't have enough time to eat, and that when we don't have enough time, we increase our stress. So step 4 in the fundamentals for body transformation is reduce stress. And this is one of those things that is rarely addressed in a diet, and why I think it's really one of the critical factors that we have to take into account. See, what happens that under times of stress, our bodies require quick energy. When those energy stores are depleted, our bodies begin to store fat to use as energy. Our body holds fat as a protective mechanism. So if we want to lose weight, we have to address the stress in our lives, because otherwise our bodies are just going to continue to store fat in the presence of stress. Chronic stress affects every cell in our body. So I want to ask you, how do you manage stress? There's a few stress relief techniques that I recommend. Those are meditation, yoga, exercise, things even like Tai Chi or breathing. All of these things are really important to start incorporating into your daily routine. I usually recommend 10 to 30 minutes minimum of meditation, yoga, or breathing, and at least 30 minutes of exercise every day. The best method to reduce stress is really to create a routine. We want to create really a daily schedule, because if we have it on the schedule, we know basically what to do and when to do it, and that really helps relieve a lot of the stress that we have. This is my personal schedule. This is kind of what I do. I wake up at 6:30 every morning. I have a glass of water with lemon and a little splash of cayenne pepper. Then I wait about 30 minutes or so to have breakfast. Then I have breakfast at 7. Then I eat pretty much every 3 hours after that, at 10, at 1, at 4, and then again at 7. I already kind of pre-program what kind of movement I'm gonna have during the day, whether that's exercise, maybe in this case it's jogging for 30 minutes, but maybe just be walking, just depending on what kind of day I have, and some kind of stress relief. And I have a regular meditation practice of usually 10 to 15 minutes. And I do my meditation in the morning between 6:30 and 7. So I usually have my water. I either stretch, relax, either do a little yoga or a little meditation. And then by 10 minutes till 7 or so, I'm starting to cook my breakfast. By 11 o'clock, I'm pretty much ready to go to bed, and it's almost like clockwork, right? At 10:59, I start yawning, I get tired, and I look up at the clock, and sure enough, it's 11 o'clock. Going to bed at 11 and waking up at 6:30 gives me roughly between 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day. And this is what I try to do, I would say Monday through Friday. Certainly Saturdays and Sundays, maybe I go a little askew because I'll go out a little later, or maybe sleep in a little bit more. But that 80-20 rule, 80% of my time, I try to follow this pretty strict schedule, and that really helps me reduce a lot of the stress in my life. Finally, the last step here is keep moving. We want to get up and stand up. We all live such a sedentary lifestyle. Our modern lifestyle has provided these amazing computers, so all the information is at our fingertips, but unfortunately it keeps us from going to find that information. So what we end up doing is sitting a lot. So we wake up in the morning, we'll sit for breakfast, we'll get in the car, sit in the car, we'll commute to work. We get to work, we sit in front of our computers, sit around all day. Then when we get out of work, we get back in our car, sit down, we commute back home. Once we get home, we'll make dinner, we'll sit for dinner. After dinner, we'll sit on the couch, we'll watch TV for a few hours, and then we'll go to bed. And that is the sedentary lifestyle, where we haven't gotten up and started moving through a lot of the day. They did a study on a lot of centenarians, these older adults that lived past 100, and tried to figure out, what was it between all these people in different parts of the world that they had in common. And the one thing that they could find that they did have in common is that many of them lived in a 2-story apartment or house, so that they were constantly going up and down, climbing stairs. So this is really important. For those that exercise regularly, don't think that working out 2 or 3 times a week makes up for sitting around the rest of the week. You know, you say, oh yeah, but I work out a couple times a week. Just because you work out for 2 hours and sit the rest of the time doesn't make up for it. So working out is great and it's important, but you have to get up and move around a lot of during the day. So we usually try to recommend, you know, not to sit for more than an hour a day. So if you're sitting, you know, for more than an hour, try to get up, stand up, walk around, you know, take the stairs to work instead of the elevator, you know, things like that, so that you're constantly moving. Our goal here is basically, you know, when we're moving, our goal is basically to burn fat and build muscle. That's what we want. But don't be fooled, because those of you that are exercising, um, your scale may be lying to you. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Because first of all, let's talk about why most diets fail. As a review, most diets fail because they don't address the detoxification burden that we've already discussed. They don't teach a balanced lifestyle. They don't teach stress reduction, because you could try to lose weight, but if your body's storing fat in response to stress, then this is part of the problem. Also, calorie restriction leads to muscle loss. You know, a lot of diets want to restrict calories, and all you're doing by restricting calories is allowing your body to use the energy of your muscle to feed itself. And muscle loss leads to energy loss. So we don't want to restrict calories in any way. Here's how our scale lies to us, because here's a a replica of fat and muscle. You realize that muscle burns 10 times more calories than fat. And we want, basically, when we get on the scale, we don't want to look at the scale and look at the pounds, because if we have more muscle, we're going to weigh more. If we have more fat, we're going to weigh less. This is basically how our scale lies. So don't be fooled by the scale. What we want is not to be light. We want to be lean. Here's a cross section on the right-hand side. A 40-year-old triathlete. That darker area in the center is the muscle, and the white area on the outside is the fat. You can compare that to the two on the bottom: a 74-year-old sedentary man with a lot of fat, little muscle, and a 70-year-old triathlete with a lot of muscle and a little fat. This is a cross section of a thigh. So if you were looking at this person from the outside, you would say that these people are about the same size. One's not necessarily fatter than the other, but one has definitely a much more internal fat. And this is what a lot of people refer to as skinny fat. People who build up a lot of fat in their body but don't show a lot of fat on the outside. So let's review again. You know, this is why these 5 fundamentals are so important: reducing toxins, reducing inflammation, eating and supplementing wisely, reducing stress, and keep moving. So hopefully you guys have learned a lot. I'll tell you, you know, this change process, you know, it takes some time. But more important than the speed is the direction you choose. So now I want to share with you what some of my patients are saying. Okay, so you could see basically some of my patients that have been through my program, what they're saying. Um, I'll tell you that I'll remind you that you're here because you want to lose inches off your waist. You want to have enough energy to get through the day, and you want to lose weight and keep it off. So let me show you how you can lose inches off your waist, hips, and thighs. Go down 1 or 2 dress sizes or pant sizes. Imagine getting through a whole day without a cup of coffee, um, and being able to eat on a regular schedule and wake up refreshed. Um, this would be amazing. Just imagine how it would feel if you could go up a flight of stairs without losing your breath, without having bending over and tying your shoe without holding your breath, fitting into your skinny jeans, or never having to experience a food coma again. Hopefully, these are the things that you guys are looking for. So now I want to ask your permission. Hopefully, I've given you some valuable information. Now that I've gone through the information, would you like me to show you how you could start on your way to a healthier lifestyle? Type yes in the chat. Great, great. So I can see you guys are into it or you're interested. Here's the program. Dr. Julio's Sobi Detox program. It's more than just a shake. It's a lifestyle that will transform the way you feel and create habits that last a lifetime. I've created a 14 and also a 21-day detox program. This will help accomplish those 5 steps in body transformation. In addition to this diet supplement package, I've also created some additional supplements. I created a supplement package of vitamin D3, these probiotics, and omega-3, Sobi omega or omega-3 fatty acids. I've also included this chocolate coconut fiber bar, which is this amazing, delicious snack bar. Listen, if you guys like chocolate and you like coconut, you're gonna love this bar. And I'll show you why snacking is so important. And you know what, many of my patients that have been through the program already, were telling me that, what happens after those 14 or 21 days, they don't want to go back to eating regular food. So what I did is basically created a post-detox meal replacement shake. So instead of having 2 shakes a day, they're basically supplementing one of their meals with this post-detox meal. So here's how basically the program works. The 14-day kit has 28 sample shake packets, 28 capsule packets, the manual shake tumbler, and then the Platinum program also has a box of the Thrive coconut fiber bars, and also included 2 health coach consultations. So the program is really simple. Basically, what you're doing is you're replacing breakfast and dinner with that meal replacement shake, and you're also taking a little capsule of the vitamins that are included. From that point on, you're gonna basically have 2 snacks during the day that you could use the Thrive chocolate coconut bars for that, and you're basically cooking or eating out 1 meal a day. So here you can see the timeline on the bottom. You're gonna eat at 7, 10, 1, 4, and 7. So it basically gives you 5 meals a day where you're eating on a regular basis. These shakes that you have for breakfast and dinner are very, again, nutrient-dense shakes, have all the vitamins and minerals that you need for the day. So if you're taking already any other vitamins or minerals, you don't need to continue taking those unless it's vitamin D3, omega-3 fatty acids, or probiotics. These I've included additionally. If you're taking any kind of prescription medications, obviously those you want to continue taking. And obviously ask your doctor if you want to start on the program. So how much, so you have basically 2 meals a day for 14 days. How much do you think you guys would pay for a program like this? I'll tell you, I've tried the juice cleanses before, and these juice cleanses could cost up to $50 a day for a 14-day cleanse, $693. But you won't pay 600, almost 700. You won't even pay 500 because the Sobe Detox, basically platinum package, starts at $199 for the package, $55 for the box of bars, and the 2 health coach consultations for $150. That's about $30 a day, a $404 value. But you won't even pay that because what we've done basically created 3 packages: a bronze package, gold package, and platinum package. And these packages have basically everything that you need. The platinum package has everything that we already discussed. The gold package just has the fiber bars, and the bronze or basic package is just the detox kit. So it could go down from as little as $15 a day to as little as $26 a day. But that's not it, because I've also included the Sobe Detox Manual. And this manual is an incredible resource because it gives you a list of all the allowable foods that you're allowed to eat during the detox. You could take that list with you to the grocery store if you're going out to eat, so you don't have to guess what you're allowed to eat and what you're not. Also, it gives you a list of snack suggestions and even some shake recipes. I'm also including with this bonus the shake tumbler, which is this really convenient shake tumbler that you can mix the protein shakes in case you don't have a blender, you want to take it on the go, or if you're taking it to travel. So now, how much would you guys consider paying for everything I'm including? The detox 14-day detox kit, a box of Thrive bars, 2 coaching sessions, the detox manual, and the shake tumbler. The value is $404, but today it's only $364.99. But that's not it, because I'm feeling friendly, and I want to, in addition to this, I want to give you guys this really fantastic vinyl backpack, which I'm wearing here. It's actually great to take to the gym. I'm wearing it here to take to the farmer's market on Sundays, like my little routine on Sunday, to go to the farmer's market and pick some vegetables and fruits. So this little free vinyl backpack is included when you make your purchase today. I've also included this free lunch cooler. Quantities on these are limited. This is a great little cooler you could take to work to pack that one meal that you'll have to eat during the day. So now, you guys, how much really is what is all of this cost to you? Again, you have a few different packages to choose from, but because you guys are listening to me live, I wanted to give you my last and final bonus offer, and that is if you choose any one of these packages, you will get an additional $50 off. This is available only for a limited time. It will expire on midnight on Thursday, which is after the replay of this webinar is over. And you can use coupon code SAVEME50. You could purchase by purchasing now on the right-hand side of your screen. So that's it for the webinar. Right now, I'm going to take some quick questions from everybody. So I'll just wait around and wait for you guys to type in some questions. I hope you've enjoyed the information I've given you today. I'm going to go back to okay, here I am. Caught me with my glasses on. So you could type in any questions you have about the webinar, about the detox manual, about losing weight. So anything that you wanna learn. We have a question here from Lynn. Wants to know, is this the same diet from before? So Lynn was one of my wonderful patients that was able to do the detox. And Lynn, we've actually changed a little bit of the formulation on the detox from our original formula. You guys were like the beta testers, I would say, from what we originally had. Obviously, you were one of our wonderful testimonials, so it worked really well. But we wanted to tweak some of the things that some of the patients were saying. We tweaked a little bit of the formulation on the vitamins. Now the pea protein that's part of the package is an organic pea protein, whereas before it wasn't. So there's some slight changes that just made the quality of the product a little better. But yeah, you would still expect the same results. Any other questions? There's a question here on the flavor of the shake. The shake is actually a vanilla berry flavor. It's actually pretty delicious. It's like a general flavor. You don't get many options here. It's just basically one option for the shake, but it's a pretty universally delicious shake flavor. Stephanie had a question about what's in the vitamin packet, and there's actually two things that are included in the box. There's 2 pills. There's actually only 2 different kinds of pills, but you have to take 3 of one and 2 of another, but that's already prepackaged for you. One of them is a digestive enzyme, and this is one of the things that we changed from the original formula. This is a special digestive enzyme for people that are taking shakes. Some people were having difficulty digesting, a liquid meal. So we've included this digestive enzyme that helps digest shakes in particular. And the other one is the amino detox, is basically amino acids. Basically, it helps liver support. This whole process of detoxification is basically supporting your own body's liver detoxification system. So what the pills do are basically just amino acids that help support the liver to do its thing, right? Any other questions? There's a few questions coming in here. So there may have been a little bit of confusion about the price. I answered Lily's question here, is what flavor is the shake? The shake is a vanilla berry flavor. Vanilla berry. There may have been a little question about the pricing. The pricing is, you basically have 3 set prices for the bronze kit, the silver kit, and the platinum package, bronze, gold, and platinum. And from the special that we're giving today is $50 off any one of those kits. So use that coupon code SAVEME50, and you could purchase that. Other questions? Stephanie wanted to know, is this okay for vegetarians? And certainly this is actually a gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free formula, and it is completely vegetarian. The protein that is included in the kit is organic pea protein. So it is a completely vegetarian formula. Anybody on any kind of special diet can use this. There's very little restrictions on this diet. The only people that are really restricted are, pregnant women who are pregnant or nursing. And if your physician has any particular issues, if you have any kind of like serious liver problems like liver cirrhosis or things, then your liver probably won't be able to eliminate toxins effectively, so this probably won't work. But most people that don't have either major liver issues or either pregnant or nursing could do this detox program. And I think that's, let's see if there's any other questions. I think that's it for the questions. Thank you guys for joining. I hope I've gone through, answered your questions. I hope you learned a little bit about losing weight and why a lot of us struggle. If you guys, I would encourage you to watch a replay of this webinar because there was so much information that you may not have gotten it the first time. So go ahead and watch the replay tomorrow. It was wonderful being here with you today, and I hope to see you again soon.